The removal phase is as we planned it. We needed to take the topsides equipment off, remove the deck, and then we had to take the jacket out. During this planning phase, we initiated discussions with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries about potentially reefing it somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. And that work culminated with our reefing in September. The post-structure removal would be cleaning the sites and completing the thing. So we had to remove the topsides, remove the jacket, and then clean the site. The pipeline reroute. This is a plan view of the platform, and these were all the pipelines coming into the platform that we had to cut at the bottom, at the mud line, and at the top. This is the auger 20-inch line that one of the first steps we did was reroute it to get that production back fully restored. The top side. So we broke the main campaign, part of the project, into two campaigns: topsides removal and then jacket removal. The topsides, April, we went out in the field. We removed the final part of the deck on May 27th. And the order of doing this, like we said, we safed out the platform, took all the small debris off, and removed all the topsides packages one after another. Lastly, we cut the deck into 3 pieces. We had to cut the deck into 3 pieces because of the weight of it and the capacity of the derrick barge. For the topsides campaign, our contractor was Global Industries, using their derrick barge, the Hercules. Global Industries is a Louisiana-based company out of Corliss, Louisiana, which is west of Lake Charles. Some of the pictures of that portion, we had a flare tower. Remember the first picture, the flare tower is really tall. Had to be taken down in 7 sections. Had a specialty contractor who does erection of these type of towers come out and help us. We did that. This is the pump station that we removed. This is the big production skid. A lot of lifts happened at night. Just if you're in the offshore business, you know that. It just happens to be that way. And then this was the helideck. So these were all the packages on the top sides. After that, we had the deck removal. This is one of the pipelines coming up. And you can see we had to cut it here. It was already cut at the mud line and plugged. But we actually had cutters here to cut it. All those so we can pull the deck. The deck, this is the deck here. You can see we're cutting at night, and we're cutting the center section out so we can lift it in 3 pieces. And then this is one of the deck sections being lifted. You can actually see it's this section here. You can see this pipe is that pipe. So this is that piece there. There it is. And then it all got loaded on material barges, taken back to shore for disposal. Sorry, I went the wrong way. So at the end of the day, after the deck was removed, this is what we had left. So that was the end of our topsides campaign. We had the jacket. You can see all the pipelines. And it ready to go for our second campaign. The second campaign was the jacket removal. And basically it was prepping it, lifting it, towing it, and reefing it in a different area. The offshore work can start on August 3rd, and we toppled September 20th. The order of operation, remember we had these 3 broken legs. And when we wanted to lift this all in one piece, we were concerned about the integrity of the lift. So we needed to drill holes underwater with divers and pin the legs and the piles together. So first thing we had to do was drill those pinholes. Then we had to cut the piles. Regulations call for us to cut the piles 15 feet below the mud line. So we had to go and jet out all the mud to allow our internal cutting tool, we didn't use explosives, internal cutting tool to be inserted into the piles and make the cuts 15 feet below the mud line. After that was done, we were able to put the pins in. We had to weld hook assemblies on the top of the 8 piles. Then the bottom feeder came. So the bottom feeder is a Versa build, heavy lift device. We'll see pictures of it. that we used. Versa Build is a Louisiana company based in Belle Chase. We selected Versa Build for the to oversee the entire work, but also to lift, transport, and topple the jacket. So these are some pictures. This is the first underwater picture you're going to see today. You can see these are the holes. The divers had to clean the marine growth and drill those holes through the jacket legs and the piles. This is jetting one of the piles to get all the mud out so we can get the internal cutting tool down. Some more pictures. Here's the internal cutting tool at the shop on the beach. This is actually the crane lowering the internal cutting tool into the pile, going all the way down 15 feet below mud line to make those cuts. It might be hard to see. You might be able to see better on the monitors, but these are the pins that the divers drill the holes, and we had remote operated vehicles insert those pins to lock the piles and the legs together. And then we welded these hooks on top of the 8 legs, piles, for the bottom feeder to come and pick up. We had to wait and weld those after all the cutting was done because we had to have access to the inside of the piles. So this is the bottom feeder, a schematic. A lot of big truss work, heavy steel on 2 barges. And this is how they plan to lift the jacket. Remember, we had the welded hooks on top. This is all the rigging that was these big spreader bar, lift bars that Versa Build fabricated. And these are the hooks that are on the bottom feeder. So the scheme was prep the jacket, cut the piles, weld the hooks, so when the bottom feeder arrived, it could come and pick up the jacket. This is a picture of those lift girders being fabricated. You can see the size of them at Versa Build's shop in Belle Chase. So here's when we lifted the jacket. You can see those same girders up there. They look kind of small in this picture. And then the jacket and the hooks. Now the whole time when we were getting ready to make the lift, Doug Peter, Mike Madonna, and Ryan Reef from Shell flew out and spent 4 days, 5 days, guys? 4 days watching the whole exercise. Shell was very happy to host Mike and Doug out there, and I know Ryan enjoyed it, but they were able to watch this whole thing. So that's the lift. We had to tow it. Now, working with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and MMS, we received permits to reef the jacket in the Eugene Island 313 SARS site. So it was good because it was only 3 miles away. We had to take the jacket from its original location and tow it over to here. And that's where we reefed it. This is a picture of the tow. The bottom feeder has it lifted. The tugs are dragging it on its way. We had a number of pipelines to cross. We had ROVs the whole time watching the bottom of the jacket, watching the pipelines, inspecting the pipelines before and after. And one of the things we found was that the fish, the marine life that was on site at 331A, actually some of them, I don't know how many, but we saw fish follow the jacket to its new location. So that was a plus. I think maybe because it was just the slow tow, but as it went over, a lot of the fish followed to their new home. The jacket toppling. So this is the procedure to topple the jacket. When we got to the SARS site, the bottom feeder set the jacket down on the bottom. But before the bottom feeder went and lifted the jacket, they set this rigging on the bottom of the Gulf with some hooks and some, to call them snares or something, but this round rigging. So when they set the jacket down, these legs were inside the loops.